Welcome everyone, my name is David Rome and we are back and better than ever for a new year of TCAA. I have with me today is Brian Van Pelt. He'll be entering the studio here any second. What we're going to do is go over the preseason rankings and discuss a few other things. So let me get Brian in here. Van Pelt, come on into the studio, man.
How you doing, Rome?
I'm doing good. It's glad to be back. I'm telling you what, I am fired up for football season. How
Oh
about
man,
you?
I'm excited. I can't wait. We got the second season of TCAA. We're about 5, 6 seasons in TFL, and then we're starting up this new league. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go.
It is going to be great. We will discuss all of those other all those other leagues on their own shows because this is dedicated only to the TCAA, and it's going to be a great way to start the season. Right off the bat, let's discuss a couple things from last season. Sure enough, we did have University of Thugonomics pull off the victory. Thank you very much. Against Land Thieves, who were so embarrassed by that loss they changed their name. So that, to each
I'd
their
like to,
own.
I'd like to just point out that was the only week that you were number one in the league, but it's the only one that matters.
That's all that matters, man. That's all that matters. We
Yeah,
had,
good job.
yeah, we definitely had an off season that I don't think anyone's ever used to in the TCAA, with higher stakes recruiting. We
Yeah.
did rookie draft. Um, just a crazy off season altogether with a college atmosphere for pro players is definitely a one of a kind.
Yeah, and it was a little crazy, just the way we had to kind of put everything here near the end of the real off season. We're not gonna do that again next year. Most people know my story and know what happened. So, we had to kind of all cram it. But next year it's gonna be a lot more paced, a lot better paced, and it's gonna be more of a year-round thing rather than everything just being crammed into the season.
Well, it was fun at the same time.
It was, but it has been intense.
Oh yeah, it's been intense. But let's go right off. Let's go ahead and let's see. Should we do the preseason rankings, or should
Yeah.
we just let's see? Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's announce to the world, TSPN Nation, the preseason top 10.
All right, let's do it. Now we got a bit of a change from compared to last season. There's not a lot of movement until you get near the end of the rankings in terms of who's in the rankings. There is movement in the ranks, but you've got your top 6 teams from the end of the season last season are still ranked. Like I said, just a lot of movement. Starting off with number one, we got 4 voters this year, by the way. It's myself, Romy, Drew, and Will Lamb. Number one with 3 first place votes is the man you defeated, who's now known as the Blue Mountain State University Mountain Goats.
It's awesome.
And it's a majority number one.
Hmm.
I personally, I think it's a good pick. Go ahead.
No, I
I'll
I
take this.
agree. I definitely agree with Blue Mountain up there. I mean, you know, great
Coming
team
out of
last year.
Yeah, coming out of Pack Six, that's not a hard one to pick.
And he is not the only Pac-6 team
Mm-mm.
to get into this top 10. Number 2, we have from the SEC, the Vessel Virgins, a team that was in the Final Four last year.
Yep,
Looks they're preseason favorites again.
yep. And he finished number 3 last year, and I'm telling you, watch out for Jeff. I think he may make some noise this year coming out of the SEC. And number 3, I do not. We talked earlier, and along with Drew, I don't agree with this, but number 3 is Gondor University. Um, I had a hard time believing I was as good as I was last year. When you guys tried to talk me up, and I don't see it this year, but the voters saw it and they got me ranked number 3.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being ranked number 3. The problem I have is when you get ranked number 4.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, how can you be the defending national champions and lose basically one player to graduation? I think it was 2 players, and get ranked number 4.
It stings a little bit, doesn't it?
It's trash, is what it is. I'm not sure who is in charge of some of these rankings, but I'll tell you what, they did an injustice to the defending champions. That's all I gotta say. So number 4, University of Thugonomics. Um, don't
Well,
worry about us. We'll take care of it.
well, if it makes you feel better, you were not the biggest drop in terms of end of season to preseason. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, true, true.
But number 5, we have the Volunteers. They ended the season last year at number 8, also coming out of the SEC. And Jason's another one that's, he's going to surprise you. I looked for him to fall a few times last year, and he reminds me of Jeff and the Rampant Lions in the TFL. He always finds a way, to kind of punch through and win. It's like every time he would get knocked down, he was right back up, and he was right there in the thick of things all year.
Yeah, yes, he was. The Volunteers were definitely in that race in the SEC. Number 6, we have our first ACC team, and I can see something coming from this team, and that is Tedzilla. They are definitely a team that could shine, in my opinion. ACC, at least the North, is going to be tough between Tedzilla and Terry Tate, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned Terry Tate. He is number 7. It's both your ACC teams right there, ranked back to back. And I agree with you. Ted and John know each other well, and they talked a lot of smack at the beginning of last season, couldn't back it up. But they're right there, right in the thick of things, and I really like their quarterback situation. Well, I like Tedzilla's quarterback situation. We were talking earlier off the air about Ben Roethlisberger and Philip Rivers and how they're thorns in the sides of a lot of people when it comes to fantasy. And then you look at Terry Tate. He still hasn't. He may have turned his red shirts in, but I don't have him put in yet. But his stable of running backs and wide receivers. I mean, he's just going to have trouble trying to figure out who to play as far as that goes. But I still think Terry Tate's may make some noise this year.
Oh, definitely. Those would be my two. In the ACC, I say they're going to be battling each other,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. But we'll get into our preseason predictions right after we get through these rankings here. Number 8
We can
is
skip
the.
number 8.
We can skip. All right, we'll skip number 8.
Wow, who
Uh,
else?
let's go to
No,
let's
I'm
go to
playing.
number 9.
I'm playing. That's nice.
All right. Number 8 is another Pac-6 team.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Greenville Green Devils. They felt they were, you know, unappreciated, I guess, or overlooked last year, or underlooked last year.
Yeah.
Not being ranked as high as they should have been. They got into the top 10 at the end of the year, pulled off some wins, but there they are, ranked at number 8 to start this preseason.
Yeah, I mean, when you're carrying players like Johnny Manziel and Geno Smith, you're going to be ranked high. And let's not forget about Arian Foster, out there. But no, seriously, he's got Aaron Rodgers. He's got 2 good young rookie quarterbacks that he's redshirted this year. But he's going to have to find another starting quarterback for Week 7. And if Rodgers goes down, he's definitely going to have to burn one of those. But having said all that, he's another one of those. He's the arch nemesis of Gondor, man. He finds a way.
Yeah,
He,
yeah,
he is a thorn in the side.
yeah. I mean, we all remember that brutal loss in the bowl game last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The only time of the season I might mention that I talked any trash.
Yeah,
But yeah, I couldn't back it up.
it didn't work out so well for you there.
No. Yeah, number 9. Now this will come as a surprise to most. Is Havoc on You, another team in the Pac-6 that got a first place vote, and that's really the only thing that bumped him up as far as it did. But nevertheless, he is there. He's in the top 10, number 9.
Hey, congratulations, right?
Yeah, and he is one of our new guys, and I believe he is the only new guy that made the top 10. So, congrats,
correct.
Jake, welcome to TCAA.
Yep, way to get in there, Jake. And rounding out the top 10 here is a team last year who went on. I think they said 5-0, 6-0 was it? I know they went on a run.
Yeah, he started off very well. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember he started off pretty hot.
But then they started to drop a little, and that would be the Medicine Men.
Mm-hmm.
They have that team on paper that just looks so good, and they did so good last year too, and then just started to fall. But I'm pretty sure they finished. Where did they finish ranked last year?
He finished ranked 4th, and he is the team that dropped the farthest when it comes to ranking. He finished 4th in the end of the season, and he comes in ranked number 10 this season. He dropped 6 spots, and I'm knowing Bryce. I'm sure he'll have something to say about that. I know he's going to be talking a lot. He's going to be running that mouth a lot, but I'm telling you, I like his quarterbacks a lot. Goes back to Rivers and Roethlisberger. We're talking about Manning's another one. You never know what you're going to get out of him, but he can put a hurting on you.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see Medicine Man making another run like they did last year. Let's just hope they don't run out of the steam like they did last year as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
sure,
another team that we know.
yeah. I mean, they did finish fourth. They did finish ranked fourth and all, but they didn't get to the promised land like we're all trying to get to, is those final four spots,
Sorry.
get into the playoffs. So to round out the top 10 right now, as the voters see it, the Pac-6 is the conference to fear right now. They have 3 teams named into our preseason top 10. Then everyone else has got 2. SEC with 2, the Big East with 2, ACC with 2. I'm sorry, Pac-6 or the Big Six is the only one with 1,
And it is
and
at number
that's
10.
Medicine Man. And they were squeaked right in at number 10 there. So should be pretty interesting to see how that.
Going to be a season of trying to earn respect, and knowing 2 or 3 of those guys, I definitely see them, doing what they can to earn that respect.
Yeah, and I'm hoping there's a ton of trash talking. We have a whole new platform of how we're going to do some of these weekly shows with, interviews on top of interviews. Hopefully get some trash talking and get some excitement going on in between these two teams and cause some rivalries, in my opinion.
Some tasteful trash talking. We almost had a murder last year, very early in the season. So tasteful, guys, tasteful.
Go ahead and murder. It's
Be
don't
easy,
be.
be easy now. I'm offended.
Well, I'm sorry, because I said murder.
No, because you just suggested.
Oh, suggested. Well, you don't take your president cap off. Remember, you're Van Pelt. You want action.
Oh, that's true.
That's what makes the media scene so good.
That's true.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, there is your top 10 preseason ranks. I guarantee that is not how it's going to look.
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna predict. I'm gonna predict 4 teams on that list won't be there at the end of the season.
Write it down.
I am writing it down. I'm gonna write it down. Wait. There's the pen. 4 not there.
Okay, so while you are predicting, how would you like to predict the first game of the week? You ready for the locks? Are we going to do that again this year?
Ooh, the locks. I was pretty good with locks last year.
You were.
Let's see the locks. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's do some locks. We'll do one game only.
Yeah. We'll just
do one game. I'll let you go ahead and pick the game because I have no idea what the games are yet.
Yeah, the game of the week, I've got to go with Medicine Man visiting Tedzilla down in Knoxville because
oh my God,
they are the only 2 ranked teams that are facing each other. Tedzilla again number 6 and Medicine Man number 10. So Medicine Man's going to look to shut your mouth when it came to your trash talking to Big East there a minute ago, and Tedzilla is going to be looking for the respect he never could gain last year. So, I'm going to go with that. Now, who you got?
I'm not gonna. I kind of wish that we had the lineup set for each team right now, so I could get a better target here, because that's a tough matchup in my opinion. Those are going to be, in my opinion, 2 of the top in their conferences. Man, and to have to battle each other first, I mean, yikes. You know what? I'm going to go Tedzilla.
You got Tedzilla. Okay.
I'm going Tedzilla for that first matchup.
I agree with you, and I'm going to tell you why. You look at these 2 teams that are facing each other. Rivers, they both have Rivers. They both have Roethlisberger. So, technically, you got Drew Brees going against, more than likely, Eli Manning. And Brees, he losing the tight end, Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, lost me there for a minute. Losing Jimmy Graham, and they're starting out against the Cardinals at Arizona. So, as bad as I don't think that's a good matchup for him, for Drew Brees. But you look on down that roster, Tedzilla also has Jimmy Graham. So actually, now that I look, Medicine Man does also. So, yeah, that's a tough one. You got Brees versus Manning essentially. But yeah, I think I'd go Tedzilla on that.
Yeah, it's like I said. There's gonna be teams that on that preseason 10 at the end. And I think we're already gonna lose one right off the bat.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, we may.
Yeah. Other than that, in our predictions, we're gonna go ahead and predict how we feel the season is going to end. Now I've picked who I think would win each conference.
Hmm.
I'm not sure how far you've gone. I've got my Final Four, and I've also
I,
got my champion.
I've picked conference. I've picked divisions. I've picked conferences, and then I've got my Final Four and I've got my champion.
All right, well, I've got all that as well. Where do you want to start?
I'd start right top ACC.
ACC. All right. Go ahead. Let's see what you got.
All right. Well, ACC. I'm gonna do divisions. I don't think you did that, but
Yeah, I did.
oh, you did. Okay.
Oh, I have it.
ACC in the North. I'm picking Tedzilla. I'm
Hmm.
showing a lot of love for Tedzilla, so Ted, you should not be happy about that. Uh,
It's a death.
and that is for real. Uh, and then in the South, that's kind of a tough one, but just knowing John, I don't know anything about this new guy, and it sounds really bad. I can't remember his name off the top. Andrew, Copenhagen. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to be like. Don't know what he's really got to work with. So I'm going to go with No Sankey in the South.
Not bad choice. Now, Copenhagen is just getting ready to take over the H-Town Cobras. 3 hours ago,
Yeah,
basically. You
literally.
know, right before season really starts up. So Copenhagen is probably going to have a little tough task uh, to take over for a team that was taken over mid-season last year, that was taken over preseason last year. So Copenhagen, sorry, dog, but you're gonna have to earn some respect. Anyway, ACC, how I have it. I agree with you in the South. I see no Sankey taking care of business. In the North, though, I think I'm going Terry Tate's. In the North side of the ACC, I feel it's
The
going to really
conference.
be, yeah, I really feel it. Terry Tate and Ted Ziller, they're just going to be probably, battling each other when their conference game hits. That is probably going to be who dictates the winner, in my opinion. Um, but I think it's definitely going to be Terry Tate. That's how I'm looking.
Okay. So okay, so you got Terry Tate's against No Sankey. Who you got taking on?
I got Terry Tate's beating
You
No
got Terry
Sankey
Tate.
for the ACC title.
I've got Tedzilla. I got
Godzilla.
Tedzilla to beat him. Yep.
Sorry, No Sankey. We think you're going to get there. You're just not going to get over the hump.
Yeah, we
So
agree. We agree on that.
yeah. So No Sankey, thank you, or however your name used to be. You shortened up your name on us. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, that's enough of the ACC. Let's go to the Big Six. The Big Six, like I said, they've only got one team named to the top 10 currently. That
Mm-hmm.
can easily change. They were a struggling conference, I want to say, last year. To
Yeah.
be as kind as possible to the Big Six. But in the East, I have Medicine Man still taking care of business on that end of the spectrum. Um, Fat Vol was there last year. They made that nice little surprise run to overtake Medicine Man when they defeated them in their little matchup. But I'm going Medicine Man in the East, and then on the West side, um, I'm kind of a big deal. He did it last year. I really didn't see much improvement, in my opinion, from Hillbilly or Gruden's two new teams that came in this year as well from their off-season pickups. So I'm kind of a big deal on the West End.
Yeah, we agree on this one. I really had, when I was looking at it, Fat Vol I think is going to fall off this year. I don't see Devin Hester doing what he did last year. I don't see Jarvis Landry doing what he did last year. Demarius Thomas has got the contract. Who knows what's going to happen with him? Do like Aaron Rodgers and Jamal Charles, but I just don't. I don't see Fat Vol there. It came to me. It came down between Dynasty and the Medicine Man in the East, and I went with Medicine Man there.
Hmm.
I hate to go with the ranked team, but that's I I, I just kind of feel like that's who's going to win now. Now in the West, mine came down to Hillbilly, and I'm kind of a big deal. Gruden's Grinders, I see too many holes, but look on his roster. He has Sam Bradford. And Drew and I was talking about this earlier, and I don't remember if you were in on that or not. But we both think that Bradford can make some noise. Plus, there's a healthy Ron Gronkowski there. But his wide receivers, man, you got Marcus Wheaton who's in trouble, Brandon LaFell, Kevin White. They're going to go on or probably get blue shirted. You don't know what you got out of Victor Cruz. So I'm going with kind of a big deal there also.
Hmm.
And you gave your winners first. I'll give mine. And this is where I may surprise you. I don't know. I'm going with some kind of a big deal. Now, I think I went with him again last year, but Matt's going to back me up this year.
Wow. You know, I actually have my last year predictions,
Hmm.
and I'm kind of a big deal in the championship match last year.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
you and I are the only two that were like that, if I remember.
Yeah. And they did me wrong. I will not make that mistake again. So I have Medicine Men defeating. I'm kind of a big deal in the Big Six championship.
Okay, so our
Yeah,
agreement ends there.
yeah, smart ends right there. Yeah.
All right, so Big East, and I'll go
Big
first there if
East.
you don't mind, because um, excuse me, in the North, um, Drew's got me drinking that Gondor Kool-Aid all of a sudden.
Uh-oh.
He kept talking to me. I'm sitting there looking at my roster, and I don't know, kind of all of a sudden feeling good. I'm gonna try to go into this season with a little more positivity. So I got myself Gondor winning the North. In the South, that's where my love for Drew ends. Um, Drew likes to talk, and I think he's got a good shot. It's literally a coin flip between Delta and Wild Will. Now Will was very close to being ranked as well. Um, so I'm gonna. That hurts to even say it, but I think I'm gonna go with Wild Will in the South.
Yeah, I agree and disagree at the exact same time with you. Um, in fact, I just agree. I just disagree all the way. Big East North, no lie. I don't care. I'm a homer, but damn, do I love my team again. I love it. In fact, I even put the wrong damn team name as my team on here. That's how awesome I put I put my TFL name. I wrote this down, so let me just change that again. Idiot. I even did it. Oh, what an idiot there too. This makes for great broadcasting.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, um, I'm going with University of Thugonomics to take the North. It's going to be another, what Jeff does with his team, Casherly Rock University, I don't know, but he scares me at the same time.
Just
So he
because
could
of his
easily
pedigree.
his pedigree is ridiculous, and for anyone in the TCAA who has no idea what Jeff has accomplished in the TFL,
Mhm.
you need to read up on the TFL and what this kid has done
Let,
because
let
for
let me
a
just tell
kid
you, you can look at the
guy,
roster. You can look at the roster he's got right now, and he will turn that. He's had rosters like that. Tell me I'm lying, David. Tell me I'm not lying, am I?
no,
He's had
and
rosters like this in the TFL. 4 Super Bowls, 3 wins in the last 4 years.
like I mean I look at his roster and it scares me, but you know his
5 years. 5 years.
the
My
team
bad.
from the team that he took over from last year, it's rough. It's very,
Mm.
very rough. But he's the only person I know that's probably going to get, 300 points out of Nick Foles at a St.
Yeah.
Louis. Or Blake Bortles, lights it up 300 points. Reggie Bush all of a sudden, does something in San Francisco for whatever reason. You know,
Devin Funches would be #1 receiver. He'll
exactly.
do. He's lucky. I mean, I hate saying that, but there's nothing else to describe it.
Reggie Wayne signs the contract with Denver somehow, and
Yeah.
takes over, you know, just destroying it with Peyton Manning, with again, no less. That's really, I'm not gonna lie, maybe that's what Reggie Wayne should really do is go out to Denver. Anyway, I don't want to do anything that helps Jeff in any way possible. Back to the subject. I'm picking the Thugs in the North, plain and simple. Can't do. I have to do it. Last year, I believe I picked yourself. I picked Condor, I think, last year. I picked you last year. No, I didn't. I picked myself. I'm sorry. I still picked myself last year. Anyway, in the South, it was a coin flip as well for me, whether it be Delta or Wild Wills throwdowns. Um, I think they're still like another year or two away from making a name presence in the Big East, or at least in the South. But I went Delta this year. It's a coin flip. Wild Will coming in from the Pac-6, I believe,
Yeah.
taking over into the Big East. So we had a lot of people come into the Big East. I don't think there's a coincidence. So, but I'm going Delta. I feel that they have the roster that just enough to get over Wild Wills.
Okay. So championship game. You got Delta versus Thugs.
Yep.
Are you still a homer?
I'm definitely a homer.
Yep,
We're
so am
re
I.
Yeah, we're going Thugs over Delta.
And I got Gondor over Wild Will.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think it's wrong for us to root for our own team.
Not when you're this good.
No, definitely not when you're this good. And I'm sure,
But
come
you know,
week
but
11.
you know who else is just as good? It's that conference just to our right when you're looking at the websites of Pac-6. That's another hard conference.
I think
Um,
there's a reason why they have three top 10.
yeah, I think you're right. But I'm gonna surprise you here. I gotta go with one that's just gonna absolutely shock you.
Yeah?
And I'm gonna start with the South first. There's no
Okay.
way I'm not picking Greenville. There's
No
no
way.
way. Greenville is 100% dead set going to win the South. Write it down. It's going to happen.
Wait, so you're picking Greenville?
I'm picking Greenville in
You're
the
picking
South.
Greenville.
Now,
Oh.
that's not what's going to shock you. What's going to surprise you is I'm not picking Blue Mountain State.
Ooh.
I looked at I looked at my list. I wanted to pick somebody, and that was the one that I had fingered. And then it's like, the rankings. I'm looking at them as they're coming in. I'm like, ah, crap. Because this is the one I wanted to go with my surprise pick, and it's not going to be the Chunky Beavers, because their roster is just
The name alone is awesome.
yeah. Well, that's another story for another day. But uh, Southern Superman, Marty's been allowing those deflated footballs on his team, but uh,
Um,
I have a feeling that Southern Superman's going to take it. He's got Brady and he's got Manning. He's more than likely going to redshirt one of them. I haven't entered all the red shirts. I really like Forsett with the way Flacco's playing, man. I really look for them to run the ball a lot. Randall Cobb is one of the only options in Green Bay right now. Amari Cooper's looking good. Jimmy Graham in Seattle, who knows what's going to happen there. He's got Vinatieri and Derek Marks. He's got one of the best defensive tackles that you can get. I love his defensive ends. I think he's kind of in there in the middle in the mix at linebacker. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick that as my upset and take Southern Superman over my boy Ryan Downs in Blue Mountain State. And I'm sorry, Ryan, but I had to go somewhere.
you know, I want to agree with you on both picks. I want to,
Oh wow, who are you picking in the South?
but I'm not agreeing.
Who are you picking in the South?
Well, it seems that you want that so bad, that little nugget. I'm going to save it for a second, and we're going to go into the north.
All right.
And, I have a lot of respect for Blue Mountain Land Thieves. I did defeat them. I made him change his name because he was so distraught. And, if that's the only way to get away from that horrible taste in your mouth is to change your name, I understand completely. But it's still the same damn team. He still has last year's Heisman Trophy winner in Matt Forte. So I'm still going blue. I mean, Southern Superman, don't get me wrong. That's a strong team. But I'm still going to stick with Blue Mountain. I think they're still one of the top teams to beat overall in general. I think there's a reason why they're ranked number one to start the
Agreed.
preseason. So I'm sticking with I'm going with Blue Mountain. But in the South, I mean, we have three teams we could choose from. You have Bailey's Dogs, who are going to stay in the doghouse. You have Greenville Green Devils, and then you have Havoc on You.
I will say I like Bailey's roster compared to what it looked like last year.
Yeah, they've definitely made some improvements. But in the South, I'm going with this year's in the top 10 preseason picking. I'm going with Havoc on You to
All
take the
right.
South.
Okay.
Oh,
Now
yes.
I know Jake, and I can tell you right now, Jake is a baller. He's going to have his nose in the books, and he's going to do it. He's got Antonio Brown. I love his quarterbacks, man. I take them all, except Matt Ryan. But uh, I like you basically got 80 Lacy against Le'Veon Bell when you're looking at the two we're talking about. And his defense, man, his defense is stacked. He's got Harrison Smith. He's got some great linebackers. Now, then you look at the front line, defensive ends, defensive tackles, uh, uh, his tight ends. You know, Dwayne Allen. Who knows what you're going to get? Jordan Cameron, man. Don't see it, Bromy, but you know, he's got great wide receivers and he's got great quarterbacks. But which one are you going to start? Who are you going to start?
That's the beauty of this type of
Yep.
atmosphere with so many picks in college.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of what makes the TCAA, far different than anything else. I mean, freaking A, look
So,
at his red shirts. Holy
so,
crap.
so you love Havoc over Blue Mountain, then? I'm assuming.
Oh no, I'm still going Blue Mountain over Havoc.
Well,
There's
I'm
Blue
going.
Mountain is
Chicken. No,
that's
I'm
right.
going. Hey, I'm going Greenville. I don't see Southern Superman beating Greenville. Ryan, man, in Greenville, he's another one of those teams. You don't want to play him. You never want to see him on your schedule, and he's just one of those sticky teams. So yeah, that's what I'm going with there.
All right. Well, from the Pac-6, we go to our, I guess, our sister station, ESPN's favorite conference,
Mm-hmm.
the SEC. It's not our favorite conference, though, because that's the Big East, obviously.
Of course.
There's no bias at all to the coverage that we have for the Big East in
Mm-hmm.
TSPN. Zero biased. But SEC, here we go. Right off the bat, we're going into the East. Um, this was one of my hardest picks, I think, out of all the choices, out of all the conferences between these three teams. Vestal Virgins, the SCLSU Mud Dogs, who made such an incredible run last year, and then the University of Ron Swanson
Mm-hmm.
Carnivores. I think all three of those teams could easily be the top of the East. I'm going with Vestal Virgins though. They proved last year that they have a team that can win. They had a couple of bad weeks that cost them. I think. I mean, they probably could have been. And I'll easily say this. I mean, even though I did beat them, I think if they didn't have that bad little luck or run to lose their momentum, I think they could easily have ran away with it last year. So I'm going Vestal Virgins in the East, and in the West, we have a new team in there. I would just refer to them as the Ducks, maybe the Zannies just for fun, but the Druggist University Zannies, Ducks in my opinion. Quack Attack, a lot of you know quackery going on, let's say, in the West. Unfortunately for them, they'll be fighting in the pond because I'm going Volunteers to
Mm-hmm.
take the West.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in the East. That one was tough. Um, I initially had picked the Mud Dogs, and I cannot remember. I was trying to look while you were talking. I cannot remember what it was that made me nervous about them, and I don't see it now. But I like Ron Swanson, like the Carnivores and what they've done. Just got some concerns with LaShawn McCoy being a Buffalo. They're going to run the ball a lot, but it is Rex Ryan. Then you see a lot of just potential, a lot of age in their running backs. Then they got Dez at wide receiver. I really like the Carnivores also, but I also went with Vestal Virgins, and honestly, just based on history there,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't decide between the three, and I narrowed it down. I had Mud Dogs written down. I've got him marked out and went with Vestal. Um, in the West, who did you say you picked?
Volunteers.
Okay, that's what I thought you said. Um, that's another one. I had Volunteers just because again they're that scrappy team that you don't want to play. Then I was looking. Sorry, brain fart. Aaron Rodgers on the Zannies, and then I looked down. I was like, oh, that's all he's got. So, you know, definitely ruled them out. And then the Quack Attack. I hate showing so much love for Ben Roethlisberger, but I don't know, man. I call him Worthless Burger all the time, but for some
I'll tell you
reason.
what, if Will was on this thing, he'd be going nuts. I'm sure he's going nuts as he listens.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Something about the Steelers for some reason. I know they lost Pouncey. I don't know what it is. I hate the Steelers, man. But for some reason, I just kind of I want to go. I want to go with Joby and Ben on this, and I've literally marked out Volunteers, and I've written down Quack Tech. So I had my SECs, the only two that I had two marked out. that I initially picked. So, again, a little bit of a surprise there, but I'm gonna go with Quack.
Yeah, I mean, I could easily see, the Quack and the Volunteers either way. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no issues there. But who do you have taking the SEC?
Vestal Virgin.
Vestal. 100% agree. I don't. I mean, it would take some shock, miracle, injury, basically, in my opinion, for Vestal not to take the whole SEC.
Um,
So we have our conference champions, but who do you think is in that Final Four?
okay, now of course, Final Four and how they played each other, I ranked them as
Ooh,
who I thought my top four would be.
okay.
Um, Number one, I had Gondor.
hmm
Just because when I put these teams side by side, that's who I picked. Number two, I had Greenville,
Okay.
and that's where the confusion started. I really wanted to put Vestal Virgins there at number three. Um, did, oh man, I don't even know. Just with them being in the SEC, and then you look at I'm kind of a big deal, and his being in the Big Six, you know that Vestal's going to be facing a tougher schedule. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? So I really wanted to go there. Really wanted to put him above everybody, I guess. Okay. Then you look at their out of conference schedule. I'm kind of a big deal. All he's got is Wild Wills and Terry Tate's really, and then he's right back in the middle. As much love as I threw onto I'm kind of a big deal. When it came down to Vestal Virgins, it came down to Tedzilla. Vestal's got Southern Superman. He's got a very, 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 very weak out of conference schedule. But he plays Quack Attack. He plays Havoc on You, who you're high on.
hmm
He plays Volunteers, and then he plays the Mud Dogs, and then he's got Carnivores, who we you just said right there. So I got Vestal at number three. Um,
Okay.
and then Tedzilla coming out of ACC. His non-conference schedule is absolutely brutal. Medicine Man, Delta, who we both think is going to be right there, Blue Mountain State, Greenville, and then he plays Carnivores before he hits his ACC play. So he's got a tough road ahead of him. So I
Okay.
got him. Sorry, I got him number four, and I've kind of a big deal left out. Sorry about.
Oh, what are you gonna do, right?
Mm,
That's why they're the Big Six. I mean, they got represented last year, so I mean,
mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong with that. Fat Ball making it into the Final Four, under you know controversy, let's say maybe. There was one
Depends on who
heck
you
of
talk
a,
to.
I'll say, um, there was no reason to even get into that. Although I really, really suggest maybe we should record who we decide when the playoff comes because I think that would have been awesome. Instead of the massive text messaging that blew up, I think everyone's network.
Yeah, it's 400 and some odd texts over the course of 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
Almost what I and
yeah,
that's just in that one group text. That's not even including all the side texts that I had
yeah,
going.
exactly. I think next year, I think for this coming year, we definitely somehow Google Hangout this sucker so we can. I think the TSPN Nation would love to hear how that got done.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for when this season goes to this time frame that it's that same type of passion and craziness where it's a good fight of who gets into these playoffs. Um, but let me give you my final four. I didn't put them in any ranking. There's no particular order here. I just went from I don't know what the hell I did. I just wrote names down. But I have in there Vessel Virgins. I think like as you said, they're they have their schedule is going to be something for them. Um, I have Blue Mountain. You know, I think they're once again going to be that dominant team as well. Uh, I have Homer City Thugs. I have to have myself in there because if I can run through the gauntlet that is the Big East, same for if your team did the same thing, I think the Big East is going to be represented again because I feel we have a very, very tough division or conference.
Mhm.
And I haven't really redouble checked our non-conference and whatnot, but I think if whoever runs the gauntlet of the Big East, I think deserves to get in there. But my team I'm going with is the ACC champs Terry Tates. They're going to be that fourth team in there.
Okay.
And then my final game, the championship of next year, or for this year, I have Vestal Virgins defeating the Blue Mountain Goats.
Okay. I don't have either one of them in the championship game. I've got Gondor beating Tedzilla, and I've got Greenville beating Vestal. And then I have Gondor over Greenville. I'm going to go for the homer all the way. Drew, that was for you. I want to touch on something else real quick.
Real quick?
When I was scrolling through the schedules, messing around with that earlier, did you see the Southern Superman schedule?
I
may need to rethink my pick there. They open
let me
up,
look at it again because
they open up against the Carnivores, and then they play the Mud Dogs. After that, they've got Vestal Virgins. Okay, then they got No Sankey, who we're kind of not sure where they're at.
Yeah.
Then listen to this.
Delta.
They got Delta, Thugs, Wild Wills, and then you got Bailey's Dogs, who meh, and then you got Greenville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Then you got Havoc on You, and then Blue Mountain State. You talk about a buzzsaw. Southern Superman's got a rough schedule. I wish I had studied these schedules a little more after seeing that, just to see what the matchups look like.
Man, that could be interesting.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
But obviously, if he wins, the rankings are definitely going to show it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because you're already looking at. Currently on his schedule, you've got Vestal Virgins, they're ranked. You've got Thugonomics ranked.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Greenville ranked. You have Havoc ranked. Blue Mountain ranked. That's already 5 out of 12. Did I miss any? Bailey's
No,
isn't.
I think we were
Not. Wild Wills isn't, right?
No.
Yeah. So, just preseason ranking, he's got 5 out of 12 matchups. So, and considering he's in yikes.
Of course, they are preseason, but.
Oh.
So.
Preseason's currently looked at on this bad boy, and that is,
Got to start somewhere.
Good luck, Marty.
Yeah.
Get through those matchups. Just a suggestion, because you do awesome promos. Just saying.
He does do awesome promos.
He does.
He had me going last year thinking he was quitting.
That was an absolute great promo.
I was ready to kill him.
That was a fantastic 30 minutes of my life. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, those are our preseason rankings. Those are our preseason predictions. I'm trying to think, is there anything else for us to cover in the TCAA this year to start off?
No, sir, I don't believe so.
All right, well, that is our show for this week. My name is David Rome. For Brian Van Pelt, we will see you all next week for the next rankings. See you.